Then myself, Max, Dave, the Wave, the Fresh Locked In T.
That's me.
The producer, Sean.
What up?
JT Money, co-producer.
What up?
But now we have two even better people than all of us. We have Taylor, Samantha White, the next big thing, and Coach Pete White himself, the legend, in the studio.
Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening.
The godfather of the 386 fighting name.
Yeah, the godfather himself.
I don't know about all that, but that sounds good.
I call you the kingpin of MMA. That's what I call you. It's just anyone you talk to, it's like, yeah, Coach Pete, their gym is amazing, and it's like, oh, Coach Pete, I knew for 20 years. It's like, who don't you know? That's probably my first question today. Who don't you know?
I don't know, man. I just do my thing, and I just keep going every day, and I just happen to see people all over the place. So it's pretty good, though. It's a nice feeling to be able to talk to everybody and see everybody everywhere I go. It's nice.
Awesome. I have written down introduction. So I have a huge tendency for getting people to think of a locked in. So you guys have been on here before, but a locked in is just a bold prediction. It could be anything. It could be related to you, the gym, sports, the Patriots will win next year, anything. So throughout the show, we'll talk about numerous amount of things, but at the end is our locked in. I remember.
Max, you're getting good at
this. I know. I'm writing things down now. I'm organized.
You're getting good, Max. I like
this.
Hey,
that's JT Money. I'm not taking credit for that. Beautiful banner. That is beautiful, though.
So, Taylor, you had a busy weekend?
Yeah,
you do anything?
Have you had a chance to actually reflect and look at your fight, or have you just been soaking it in, or are you just training and ready for the next one?
Honestly, yesterday I went back into the gym and I probably watched it 50 times.
Really?
I couldn't believe
I've seen it double-digit times, I swear. I've watched it at least 10 to 12 times.
It just, I trained so hard for that and waited, months and months, and so many opponents pulled out, and then being to actually go in there and do it, it was just, that was everything I wanted and more, and I couldn't be any happier with it.
Can you take us through the fight. So, obviously, you had a chance to watch it.
Yeah.
And it was exactly as you expected, or was it different? It was just picture perfect?
It was just, I mean, as soon as I stepped in the cage, I just wanted to cry. I couldn't believe, wow, I waited since I was 16 to fight MMA, and I finally got to do it, and it lasted a minute. But I didn't even think about it.
That's a good thing. You want to get in and out of there clean and as easy as possible. That's lucky. That's good.
I didn't even think about it going to the next rounds. I didn't think about it going to the ends. I didn't think about staying there for that long. As soon as I got in there, I waited, and I was patient. And then when I was pacing back and forth, waiting for her to walk in, I just thought about all the people that have helped me and supported me and brought me to where I was. There's no way I could let those people down. So I went in the fight, and as soon as they said go, first thing I thought about was kill. I just wanted to go in there. I just wanted to hit as hard as I could, as fast as I could.
I have two things. First is, Dave, are you super tall today? What shirt are you using? I'm looking over and I'm we're all looking eye to eye, and I'm looking up at Dave.
It's a little barstool.
Okay.
And the hair is a little tall today, too.
All right, so that's the first thing. Second, so you weren't nervous at all? You just felt ready?
I felt nervous every single fight, but I had no nerves. I was just so ready to fight. I was so ready to go.
And this is your biggest fight today. It's your debut. You mentioned you turned 18. I know you wanted to fight so bad because you turned 18, but you had an opponent pull out, another opponent pull out, and then you finally had this fight. And you have no nerves.
No.
That's a scary thing.
Oh, so spicy.
She was in the zone, that's for sure. I could see it in the locker room. I was hitting pads with her, and she was kind of just zoning in and out.
So you can kind of say that she was locked in?
Yeah, she was. And then I pulled her out for a minute. I stopped hitting pads, and I'm like, all right, listen, snap out of it, focus. Let's just get back in the game. Just go in there and have fun.
Yeah.
Just have fun. You've been waiting so long for this. Just have fun. So
It was fun. It was definitely fun.
How much did this fight mean to you, Coach, knowing that this is Taylor's first fight, like you said, and there's been so many obstacles and bumps in the road to actually get her a fight, and now you finally have one. How much did it mean to you to watch her fight?
I don't even know, to be honest with you. Over these years, I don't know how many fighters I put into a ring, cage, and everything else over all these years. How many fighters have actually done it? And that's, her brother was one of my first ones when I trained him to box, and it was great. And then sometimes people just don't, they grow out of it. If you push them too hard, you push them away from it. But so it didn't work out, with him. He just kind of faded out and did his own thing. And then now her stepping up in there, it turned into like, oh, here she goes, and that's one, and she'll, you know, I have a lot of great fighters, but she's going to stand out. She's going to be big.
Your son was a beast. I don't know if you remember, I trained with him at the Armory, and
Yeah.
he would tear. That's my next question. So I always remember there was a little girl who used to train. Was that you?
That's her.
So I've known you for longer than I even thought. I was talking to Dave. I'm like, yeah, there was a little like girl training hitting the bag, and that was you this entire time.
Yeah,
So,
everyone overlooked me, and then
so I've known you for years. I've known you for years. I just never knew it.
yeah.
So
It's like a Cinderella story.
I know. I'm like, I saw her shit when she was little.
She was the one in the gym that was always, go stand over there, get out of the way, get out of the way, get out of the way.
Always.
And now you're the next big thing.
It's crazy.
It's coming. The fighter who you fought, she was 43.
Yeah.
I kind of like, you
I
know.
didn't even have any idea.
Yeah.
I didn't even, to be honest with you, they told me they had an opponent for her. I didn't even care who it
Yeah.
was, what it was, or whatever. I said, as long as you guarantee me they're going to show up,
Yeah.
we're coming.
And I was like, I had no doubt Taylor was going to win. I had zero doubt.
Mhm.
But Pete, I know you know that there's a thing called father strength, you know, mother strength, right?
Yeah.
When she was 43, I was like, we're watching it at home. Colin was into it. The wife was into it. She was like so excited. She's like, wow, she's 43. That's a legitimate thing. 43-year-old
Grown
straight.
woman.
Yeah, it's a grown woman. So I was like, wow. I'm like, I honestly thought going into it, I'm like, oh, Taylor's going to win, but there's going to be some kind of give and take a little bit, just feeling her out. Taylor goes right through her, just right through her. I was like, God dang.
I didn't anticipate it going any other way, to be honest with you.
Really?
I
That's
just-
all. That's great.
For her size, and she's extremely strong.
Yeah.
And the first thing I did is I looked at Anderson and I said, man, I'm never going to get this kid a fight now. And that's the truth. It's hard to get fights. And, you know, we went up in weight class and they pulled out, and we've run against people with bigger 4 or 5 fights, and we just can't get the fight. So he'll come.
Do you see yourself changing your style based on your opponent, or are you one of the fighters that just focuses on you?
I do my thing. I go in
I like
there.
that. I like
and
that.
everyone thinks that all I have is boxing, and all I know is how to box, and I know so much more than boxing. I have trained so hard in jiu-jitsu and in my ground game completely. I mean, you can ask Michael or Anderson. It's changed so much, and I worked so hard for it, and I didn't get to show it on that fight, obviously, but I'm not going to go on my way to try to pull somebody to the ground to prove a point to people.
I was about to say that's again not a bad issue to have if you just finished it so quick you didn't get to show anything else. But that's incredible. What is it like coaching, Taylor? So when you coach different fighters, the same thing for basketball. You don't always coach the same person the same way because people respond differently. How do you coach Taylor?
I coach every single fighter differently because every single fighter needs a different thing.
Yeah.
It's all mental. So some of them are more mental, some of them are less mental. But you have to push them and stuff. So I'll push her, and I don't give her no. She gets no slack because she's my kid, none. I push her harder actually than I do most of the other guys. So, but I stay in her. I said, listen, if you want to do this, then you're going to do it right and go hard. I drive her to Orlando. She'll work with Mitchell Chamali down there. Mitchell's been, because he's a 125er, so he works with her. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, works wrestling with her, takedowns, takedown defense, all that stuff. He's got his own little gym set up in his house, and we go there, the Guillotine Factory, and thank you, Mitchell, for everything you do
Thank
for
you so
her.
much.
Hannah Goldie, everybody, she trains with everybody. So
She had a great performance as well in other fights, right?
yeah, she did. Hannah's awesome, man. She's definitely a role model and a leader in the women's MMA right now. So, and she's like my own daughter too, you know. And
The king of MMA. I told you this. The king thing. It's ridiculous.
It's the tree. It's like when you go to Animal Kingdom in Disney. It's that big
Everything
tree in the
has to do
middle,
with
Pete
Coach
White's
Pete
at the top, and it all just springs down.
There's so many good guys out there, so many great coaches and stuff. You know, we're just blessed, and I know how to build a fighter. So okay, well I can teach her to box. She got Coach John working her kicks. She got Mitchell working her jiu-jitsu, Anderson working her jiu-jitsu, Michael working her jiu-jitsu, her wrestling.
Holy crap.
That's a
We've got-
dream team right there.
I mean, you get the best of the best. And what else do you need?
So
And
what?
she dedicates. That's the important part. She commits. She trains 2-3 times a day. You know, she's next door at Richard's training, doing strength and conditioning
Elite
a couple
strength?
times a week. Richard Pinelli, the best in the business. So she's the one that puts in the time. So that's it. We'll keep feeding her.
What would you say the most important aspect is in a fighter? So you obviously have coached you can't even count how many fighters. Is it just the hard work and dedication and passion you think is the most important? Because that's clearly something you have. So beyond the talent, you just have the dedication and love for the game.
It's the dedication. I have so many talented fighters, and I have a lot of kids that come in and out of the gym, and they're extremely talented. But if they don't want it, or I can't want it for them. Yeah. They have to want it.
You can't instill that into people.
That's it.
So we're at dinner. What do we talk about at dinner? At the dinner table, we're talking about Pete White's gym and the fighters, and we're talking about Taylor, and it came up, not to blow smoke up your butt, just your work ethic and the character that you have, the humbleness. You can't teach it. These are just traits you have or you don't have, and you have it in spades. We just talk nothing but high praise about you. We're excited. We're excited for the future. It's just you can't instill good work ethic into people. You have it or you don't.
Yeah, and when I'm in Pensacola at Michael's fight, we're up there at Island Fights and stuff, and then I'm sitting around waiting for weigh-ins or waiting for the fight or whatever, and then Taylor sends me a message and sends me a picture of washing dishes in the kitchen at her job. She's like, I'm doing this now, but I'm not going to, this is something I'm going to work hard for, so I don't have to keep doing this for the rest of my life.
I feel the same way when I make boxes. I swear, I'm like, give me a couple of years, and I'll be taking everyone with me, but we'll be somewhere else. I can promise that.
I think that all the time. Like, I have, my car is like 20 years old, and it has duct tape on the side because the window doesn't go up. It's horrible.
I had the same thing. Doesn't start.
No,
it's
horrible.
I'm like, okay.
And I just tell myself, like, anytime I get upset, I'm just like, it's temporary. It's so temporary.
And that's what makes you unique. So when you have a fighter who's used to all the riches and having everything brought to them, when you fight them and then when you elevate, you'll always have that with you too. I remember when I had to struggle to do this or do that, and that's just something, like Dave said, it's just have.
It's just the bad part of the book. That's all it is. Just the bad chapter.
Your gym, and we say this all the time, you guys literally have the next big thing. You have Michael Davis, you have Chris, you have Anderson, you have Coach John. And I'm sorry if I'm leaving anybody out, but you guys have a handful of people that we could argue will just make it big. Yeah. And that makes your gym so unique.
There's so much talent. It's crazy. And like I said, the ones that want it, they're there. They ask, they put in work, and they want more and more and more. And I'll take them as far as they want to go. You know what I mean? Michael came 3 or 4 years ago, and he's like, I need some fights, this and that. I said, okay, let's go. So I started fighting. Last week was our 10th walk to the ring together. Done between
and the next time will be in the UFC.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
He was actually,
that's awesome.
Michael was supposed to fight yesterday on the Austin card.
Really?
But we couldn't make, it was too much for him to try and make weight that fast. So he was supposed to fight the kid that Brandon Michael Davis fought last night, which I heard was a hell of a fight.
It was awesome.
So Michael was supposed to fight that kid.
Oh, that kid has a chin for days, but...
Yeah. So we turned...
No, it would be white.
Not that I turned it down, but we couldn't, there was no way I could push him to fight last Thursday, then make weight, cut down to 145.
Yeah, you got to do it right.
This way. So we're basically just waiting. We listen, I have myself and Abe Kawa from First Round Management, Dean Toole, and Ian Valencia, and all these guys, the whole crew of people that we have pushing for Michael. It's just a matter of time when Sean Shelby just picks whichever card we're going to be on. I would love
the Brooklyn, right?
I would love for it to be Brooklyn, be on that undercard of Khabib Ferguson. That's the one I want. You hear me, Abe?
So, we've been saying that since day one. We're going to go if that's the case.
Yeah.
We're going to book tickets. We want to do a live event at UFC.
The worst thing is, we do have an event planned at my house. We have chicken tenders. We got the whole thing. The wife's cooking and everything. But it's like, if Michael gets on the card, it's like, all right, guys, party in Brooklyn. No sleep.
I'm trying for that one, but whatever it is, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a matter of time, and he'll take over the 145 division.
Soon.
Abe Kawa, the head of our First Round Management there, he says, Michael Davis is the new John Jones of the UFC. And it's true. There's nobody at featherweight that's going to stop him.
No, I see. Yeah, we were talking to Mike. He was in the studio about the fight. And it was like, okay, not only did he crush the kid, he crushed his ribs with those body shots. So he could have easily just stood up and strike with him, but instead picks him up, slams him on the ground, and just destroyed him.
Yeah.
It was bad.
It's just...
He didn't get hit one time. We actually asked him, no, I don't think I did get hit.
They will tell you when you sit down, I sit at Dean's desk, at his office in the Island Fight headquarters up there, and he was going through, he showed me a notebook like you have here, just one page front and back there's probably 40 names, 45 names on there of kids throughout the entire country that wouldn't fight Michael. All 145ers, 150,
There's a reason why they're not fighting
we
him.
went all the way up to, we went to 155. Everybody's like, what are you doing fighting at 155? Nobody will fight him. I mean, you know, if they got a big record, they don't want to take the fight against the guy that's got a smaller record because it doesn't make any business sense. And then, you know, if they're the smaller guys with trying to build themselves up, they don't want to fight Michael anyway either. So it is what it is. You know, props to everybody. Everybody's trying to get ahead in this game, and that's cool. But you know, Michael's just on that level.
I have a theory. If you commit, and we've talked about it with Mike, we talked about it with you when you were training. You came down here. What do you think if a fighter commits to a match? So it's not like they didn't commit; they already committed to a match. It's like the weigh-ins, and then somebody backs out. Shouldn't that cost a loss on the record? Because a lot of fighters build up their record, so it would affect them.
Okay, but there's so many circumstances to that.
Like if you have a broken leg, I understand.
Right, but I see boxers or MMA guys or whatever, they pull out of fights, they don't want to fight. Dehydration. So all they have to do is go to the hospital, say they're dehydrated. They hook up IV bags to them. They get a receipt from the emergency room saying that they were treated.
Yeah.
And then that's a medical condition, so they cover their blood, so they don't. Otherwise, yeah, I think, you know, if guys are going to pull out of fights, which happens, some guys show up to weigh-ins and then don't come back. Well, if you don't do that, then, you know, the commission can go after you and they can suspend you because you've signed a contract.
Suspension's probably
so
sooner or later the name's going to get out that
yeah.
he's a pull out of a fight or she's a pull out of a fight type of person. And
promoters don't want to deal with
exactly. Yeah. Sooner or later it happens, and the higher you up, you know, the UFC usually it's just major injuries. Usually guys don't pull out fights.
Yeah.
Luke Rockhold just fought Yoel Romero 3 pounds heavier. He didn't have to. He could have said no, but at that top end level, they want to fight.
Yeah.
They know it's going to elevate their career and their.
The fighting is all great, but in the end of the day, you're an entertainer.
Sure.
So you're there to entertain. Yeah, people. You're there to entertain people. If you're not there to fight and you're not going to compete or whatever, then you're not an entertainer. Then what do they need you for?
Sure.
So that's just it.
I was going to say the last time we were all kind of together, it was around November-ish in your gym. We had a live podcast. It was awesome. Mike, Dimitri from Fit Meals, Anderson, John. It was great. And you were so, hey, Dave, Max, we got this lined up, this lined up, this lined up.
Oh, man.
We went through it. I know it's been a crazy 8-10 weeks for you.
Exhausting.
The traveling, every Saturday, something, multiple events. John's like, we had Copperline Coffee together. John's like, I had to do this in Melbourne, and Pete was this way. And you guys are crisscrossing. How has been the last 10 weeks? All the fights, and kind of what's next? What's the next 8-10 weeks for you guys?
It's been crazy, and as much as I'm happy that we got our fights in and everything, I'm glad that after this weekend had just passed that I can catch my breath for a minute.
Sure.
We got some new breed tournaments coming up here, some jiu-jitsu tournaments that we're probably going to get involved in. March 25th, I got 4 or 5 guys that are amateur fighting here in Daytona for a Elite Muay Thai boxing fight at the Hilton.
Okay.
Then the weekend after is the 31st. I have USA boxing fights down in Kissimmee at Joey Ramos's fights. Then the weekend after that is April 7th, which is Mitchell Chamali. He's going to have a Pro-Am MMA show in Orlando.
Orlando Live Events.
And that's her next fight. She'll be on that.
That was the next question.
Her, Chris Mixon. We'll put those guys on that card and stuff. So
we're talking about Chris. And we talked with John.
He's our guy.
He boxed like Conor McGregor. And I know I'm the biggest Conor McGregor holder. And John agreed with me, so I'm not crazy. The way he distanced and his range was amazing, and the way he set up his punches, he annihilated that kid.
Yeah, Chris is he's kind of like a younger Michael at this point, where he's just got that natural talent.
Yeah, it's insane.
But he never stops working. He's never stopped. I mean, even when he's not in the gym, he's at a gym in Palm Coast or Urban Elm up there, or wherever it is that he's training at all night. You see him on Snapchat until 10.
Everyone says he's Snapchat.
He's hooked on Snapchat.
He's a Snapchat kid. And Snapchat's great if you're doing that with your buddies. But you know what? You got to have Facebook. You got to have Instagram. You got to have that stuff because you're building your own brand. Like I said, you're an entertainer. If nobody knows who you are, then what good is it?
I've been Facebook since day one.
You've been Facebook since I jumped your ass.
Facebook since T-White got you on Facebook.
Do you see yourself now sticking to MMA or just boxing, or do you still want to do both? I know it's a tough
Yeah,
question.
it's tough. I love boxing. You know, boxing will always be my favorite thing. That will always have my heart. But I see myself going a lot further with MMA. I love the challenge. I love learning something new. It's nothing like boxing. Not even close. Yeah, you punch, but it's not like punching in boxing. And
So you enjoy boxing more, but you just want to go further in MMA?
That's such a great question. I love both.
You love both, yeah.
I love both, and I've met so many amazing people from boxing and so many people from MMA. Like, I feel like I could go either way if I wanted to, honestly.
And what is it like having Coach Pete in your corner? Like, you know, when you go to a fight, you have the coaching advantage. Like, and I'm not just saying that because you're here, but just the passion you have for the sport, well, sports, boxing, and MMA.
It's like the Brady Belichick.
Yeah, like you just
got
know
the
you have
advantage.
somebody that's invested in you and will definitely steer you in the right direction. How is that like night after night, fight after fight? Is that just such a huge weight off your shoulder?
Yeah, I trust him 100%. And I'm not just saying it because he's my dad, but I've seen what he can do, what he's done, and he's put so much time into all of this. I mean, we started at a freaking park. When I was 9 years old, we started at a
That's
park.
crazy. I saw the video on Facebook when
Yeah.
you went to her classroom to hold the
Yeah.
mitts. I'm like, it does
I was
not
in
get
fifth
better than
grade.
that. Like, that's something you see in a UFC countdown.
Yeah.
When they're like, Taylor's been doing this since she
We're
was little, and you see
two and a half years away from that.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, you're
No.
hitting mitts in a classroom. Like, come on now.
We had like one bag hanging from a tree. I mean, we had nothing. Like, we lived in a van for like a year.
We had to get everything going down there and trying to get our stuff together. And I had kids coming after school. They would just show up to the park down in Whistle Stop Park in Edgewater. They'd show up down there, 20, 30 kids every day after school.
Holy crap.
We just worked, you know, just kept going.
So what's, I think you already asked this question, like what's coming up next for the gym? Like, is there any big dates coming up besides, we have Taylor's next fight and Chris's? Is there anything else?
Basically, I'm waiting on the phone to ring for Michael Davis. And
How about Anderson?
Anderson, I've got a couple of different leads on Anderson right now, so I'm just waiting for some reason I've just had one thing after another fall out for him for the past 3 months.
Yeah.
Just one thing after
He was
another
telling us
just
that
keeps
too.
falling out. So I'm trying to lock him down on several different shows, but you know, of course, we're waiting to see if Dean Toole's going to bring us up there with Anderson, and
Okay.
you know, he was saying he wanted to work Anderson next, so we'll have, you know, Michael's pretty much done up there.
Sure.
But we'll move Anderson in. You know, he's 6-1. He's on that verge of going to the big show as well. So you know, we're just me and Anderson keep having a discussion back and forth. You know, whether he's going to do 135 or 145, or you know, if we have to catch it 140. He's done that a couple times. He's made 135 twice, but he's never competed because of an opponent or something pulling out. So he's never actually
He doesn't know how he
chased
feels
the
in there, 135, and
So
Do you have any idea, or like, what weight class you think he's probably best at, or will perform best?
I'd like him at 135, but we'll see. I need him to fight at 135 so I can feel him out. But you know, I know he's okay at 145 too. He can fight at 145. You know, he just, you know, when you got a guy that fights and he fights once, you know, we fought 4 or 5 times in the first 2 years, and then all of a sudden we're fighting once a year for the next 2 years because he had both knees operated on. He had, you know, things just happen and stuff goes that way. So now it's a matter of, okay, we got to knock the rust off, get you back in, and let's get going here because we're right on that verge. And you know, Michael's 25, Anderson's 31, but
yeah.
Anderson still goes good with everybody. You know, the guys go down to Fusion XL on Saturday and they spar. I try to go down there when I can. You know, you got everybody down there working.
Yeah,
with you.
that gym's a beast.
So, you know, and it's just, I mean, you got the good guys there in the gym, but you also have all the guys coming from all over Florida because it's kind of like our central point for everybody to meet at. So, that, you know, when you go in there on Saturday morning and you got 30, 40 guys in there and you have to do rotations because there's not enough room, it's great. It's great work, you know, but I go down there. I love seeing my brother Mark Nicholson. That's my bro. So
yeah.
I spend a lot of time when I can with him. You know, and I've with Alex since he was a little amateur. So you know, we kind of started a long journey together. But
we got to do a Nicholson family with Pete in.
Oh boy,
that's the next
Again,
thing.
the kingpin.
And like we'll talk nothing. We'll just talk about movies and books, and we'll
Did
just
you
do.
see the Black Panther
How
movie?
was that?
Yeah, I did.
Was it not amazing?
I thought it was good.
It was amazing.
I thought it was good.
I'm not over exaggerating. I think it's a 9.8 out of 10. But that's just me. That's just me.
It's a really good movie. Michael B. Jordan, the bad guy of the
Yeah.
movie, he's to me
I
he's the
haven't
best
seen
part.
it
Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
thought so too.
Won't spoil anything. It's just an amazing movie. That's all.
He
Just-
turns
spoiler
into the
alert.
Black Panther.
I thought it was gonna be like Pink Panther, like it's like a heist movie, right? Like you
Yeah,
know.
something like that.
Yeah,
You're
okay.
close.
But we're gonna have to. If Anderson fights at Island Fights, we're gonna have to go.
Oh yeah,
We're gonna have to
we started doing this. The first
Well-
we had Anderson, now we had Titan FC tickets.
Well, I'm
We
waiting
were
for
down there.
Anderson. I mean, it could be
We'll definitely
Titan.
go.
It could be whoever's going to come up with the fight for us. We just need to fight, you know. And
Definitely.
we've had a couple of things, you know. Anderson got hurt or couldn't make weight or whatever at the time when we were offered fights for Titan. Titan's always been good to us.
Yeah.
You know, we'll do our thing, but I just need him to fight. So if somebody wants, you know, to get with me, we'll try and work it out, and we'll see if we can get him back in the cage or the ring or whatever. Let's get moving. You know?
Do you think that's a like you mentioned, fighters do pull out because they get injured when you're just
Yeah.
training extremely hard
It's
all the time.
100% injury rate.
Yeah. So is that just something you've grown accustomed to, or is there something to fix that? I just feel like that must be the most disappointing thing. You have a whole training camp, and then all of a sudden,
It's just-
no more.
It's
Like,
a
happens,
freak
man.
accident.
It happens. It's disappointing. Listen, I had Michael's first fight with Island Fights a year ago, and we get ready to fight Shannon Williams, and first thing he gets pops his rib, so we had to pull out of the fight. I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me! Waited so long to get him in there, and then you know, so we waited, and luckily, like 3 months later, they had another Island Fights, and then Shannon still agreed to fight Michael, so we went back up and we fought him on the second attempt.
That was actually writing down our notes. Do you like how Anderson and Michael could be both 145s? So, you know, God forbid something happens or slides in that Anderson can jump in, Michael can jump in, short notice, late notice. Is that something you like, or it's like, guys, Anderson, go 135,
don't want you
dominate.
guys to fight each
Michael,
other.
yeah, of course
I
not.
like to be able to see the domination. Anderson,
Sure, okay,
Anderson
there you
at 135 is like Michael at 145.
145, there you go.
Michael
Okay.
is Michael is a ridiculous freak at 145 to be as big as he is and as powerful as he is. There's nobody with the strength that he has at 145.
I told him, and I told John,
Real quick, Anthony shouted us out on Facebook Live. So what's up, Undisputed Fight Night?
my
Coming
man,
out to you.
What up, T? What's going on, baby?
Anthony, me and you in a ring, headline, undisputed. I'm playing.
I got back to the second.
My friend is like 215, plays football. He said you saw Mike Davis. I'm taking this over here too.
Yeah, it's easier.
Yeah, I know. I know what you guys are doing. I'm the only one that's doing this. So. No, but Mike Davis is lifting the weight that a 215 football player is, and he's strong. Like he lifts heavier than people who are 285. And he's like, "Well, what weight class do you think he's fighting at?" And he's like, 180, 170. I'm like, no. Like, he can just throw these people out of the ring.
Well, he goes down there. You know, when he goes to Fusion or to ATT Orlando or Paul Rodriguez's place, you know, and sometimes he'll jump in there and I see him going with the Jacare or something like that. I'm like, Jacare's 220. Michael's walk around weight is, you know, walking around at 167, 168 when he's heavy.
Really?
When he's
That's heavy.
And he's
When he's
holding
heavy.
his own.
And he's well, I mean, he holds his own, yeah, but I don't want him going with guys that big. Because then you get a popped rib or whatever,
Sure.
you know what I mean? We don't need to go with guys that big. But he goes with Mike Perry, and Mike, I mean, Mike is, 170, but when he's not cutting weight, you know, he's 190, 195, 200 pounds. And Mike is a monster. He's strong as hell. But
UFC,
those
Orlando.
two are the best training partners together. They push the hell out of each other. Mike Perry and Mike
I would
Davis.
love to see the footage. Just
Yeah,
if
yeah.
someone needs to film it and just show me. I won't show anybody else. Let me see it.
They
It's like a
work
free
hard
pay per view.
together. And then, you know, Anderson's down there and he's going with everybody too. You know, he's, like I said, Anderson at 135 is kind of like Michael at 145. I think he's huge for 135. It's a strong push for him to make 135.
So there's definitely cons to rolling with someone that's bigger than you, like injury. But when you do come out healthy and you fight somebody your weight, it's like nothing.
Yeah.
It's like nothing because he threw that kid. Oh,
Listen, Michael at 155 can throw people around.
Yeah, I'm not sugarcoating anything.
But-
He slammed that guy in his neck. Like,
But
it
they
was
want,
just-
we're going to start
It
at
is
145 in the UFC, and I feel strongly that Michael can take the world title at 145 within 2 years, and then we'll go up to 155, and we'll take that one too.
That's you should have said that for your locked in. That would have been the best locked in ever.
That's not a locked in. That's just a given.
I like it. I saw the post with Sean Shelby.
Yeah.
He better have looked at that.
He does. He knows. They know what's going on.
They
Trust
do?
me, Abe talks to Sean all the time.
Okay, I hope so. Because
That's
it's
their
just,
job, is to be on that. That's their job, is to know who Michael Davis is.
he better be
It is.
watching this.
What's up, Sean?
We talked UFC. Can we just? I want some UFC topics. Can we get into that?
Sure. I was gonna throw out Taylor that she can throw out her sponsors,
Yeah,
her
please do that. I'm
Facebook
sorry.
page,
Yes.
her
Oh, boy, we're not all
T-shirts.
Oh.
Just a couple.
You need to come
Whatever
with
you do to
something-
make more money, we want Taylor to make as much money or as much sponsorship as possible. So definitely throw out that. And then Max, the floor is here. You can go UFC.
I have one recommendation. You should have something in your wallet and just
Ooh.
list the
I
paper and
know.
just
It's like
just
laminated.
falls straight down to the
Like
floor.
they show
You know,
friends
like your
I
top
wanna
five
thank,
list.
I have the worst memory ever, so I feel like even worse when people like ask me something. All right, I know I'm gonna forget someone.
And
so the ones you mentioned are just that.
real quick, we do have a Facebook question for Taylor.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Producer, you shout it out.
Anthony wants to know: do you still plan on boxing? Like doing?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I'm gonna box. I'm
Yeah.
definitely
100%, Anthony.
100%.
By the way, now that before you mention your sponsors, one last thing I swear: the Locked In community.
Yes.
Make sure you guys check it out so we could debate. I have my debates of the day I've been putting on my feed, but we got to do it on Locked In community, and we'll get into the debate of the day. So Locked In community, it's a group page, Locked In page like that.
I played
Made you proud?
in her boxing, doing MMA, jiu-jitsu tournaments and stuff like that. And if I could slip a wrestling camp in there, here and there.
Sure.
Yeah, that's the
That's
base of a pyramid for MMA in my book. It's
Yeah.
just right. If you could dictate where the fight goes, that's the most important.
sooner or later up the ladder, you're going to face a badass wrestler. Sooner or later, if you're going to want to be a world heavyweight champion, you need to handle
Thanks for
yourself
striking
wrestling.
too.
So
I'm
but
sorry. Go ahead.
Taylor,
Sponsors.
floor is yours.
Yeah.
We're going to put down the mic, Max.
Another thing, Team Fake Gear, you're amazing. They're the nicest people I've ever met. They're really nice. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting them in person, but just talking to them, like, they're so nice. Dimitri at Fit Meals, he's the man. You want to lose some weight, go to Dimitri. Elite Strength and Performance right next door. Richard, you were so nice, and I'm so thankful I get to work with you. C's Waffles, Becky and Josh, I love you guys. Thunder Fight Night, you guys are amazing. They've been with me since about like day one. I appreciate you guys. Best Believe, Jess, I love you guys. You guys are definitely family. Winners Bar, Jeff and Nina, you guys always been family for years and years. Repairs on a Dime, thank you guys so much. NSB Spine, I love Donnie. I've known Donnie since the Armory, a long time, like 9 years.
Good old days.
Good old days.
I think the days are a lot better now.
No, yeah, the days are better
days
now.
are better
It's
now.
just a slogan. I don't mean it.
I can't
You
believe
and your slogans.
Oh, hold on a second.
No problem.
I knew that was
Penny
Taylor.
Smith, I appreciate you.
MJ.
MJ, Combat Night, Mitchell, you've become family the past couple months, and I'm so thankful I get to work with someone so talented that's been around the game for a long time.
And he's got a nice beard, too.
Rocky Moore, appreciate you. I appreciate everyone, all my coaches. John, I've known him for like 2 years, and John is the nicest person.
He's the best.
You know, unless you know him, and then he gets so mad sometimes, and this is so funny. But I love
Whoa,
John.
you got a Mad John story? We're listening. We're listening.
Did you say Batman wasn't good? Did you say that?
No, I like Batman. That's why we get along. But we were drilling one time a combination with a kick at the end, and I kept kicking him in the body for some reason because I couldn't reach his head. And he was like, "Taylor, kick my head, my head." And
He's only 6'5".
Yeah, I was like, John, I can't do it. I can't reach.
he was yelling at Colin. He was like 5 years old. He's in the ring. Colin's like kicking him in the hip. He's like, Colin, get my head, my head. I'm like, John, he's 5, man. He's not gonna get there yet.
He's the best though. He'll work
Oh, we love John.
He'll work hours and hours, and he has so much patience. I don't know how he does it.
He's passionate about it. Just
Oh, yeah.
talking
Oh,
to
yeah.
him.
Oh, you
It
had
took
a
2
podcast.
hours. We had to cut it at 2 hours.
We're like, John, it's 2 hours.
I
It's
know.
midnight. We gotta go
I can go
home.
home for hours, and he's so funny.
He's
When he
He's a
talks-
blessing. He's one of the biggest blessings I've ever had in my life to help me.
That's
with
awesome.
Is John. John, I love him. He's like my own son or everything. And I couldn't think of a better person to pass on my knowledge and anything, my connections, anything to him is him. He's everything.
Yeah.
Anderson, I mean, I've known Anderson since I've started fighting. He's like a big brother to me, and I'm so thankful that, he's still around, he still works with me. His girlfriend, Sarah, she's my best friend, and I love her too. Hannah and Alex, she's my sister, and I'm thankful I have someone talented like her, to look up to, that seeing her journey, I know I'm going to follow right in those footsteps, so it's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, who else?
We got another Facebook question real quick, just to interrupt. Sean?
Well, I've got the first thing. Dimitri chimed in right as you were starting. He said, "I've got you locked in." Taylor White. Next big thing is an understatement.
Wow.
And then there was a question from Anthony to Pete. He goes, "Who's your top 5 active welterweight boxers?"
Oh boy.
On the spot.
Miguel Cruz. That's my number 1.
I like that.
Miguel is my boy. I love that kid, man. That kid's. I've never seen somebody with so much heart and desire to be successful. I love that kid. Let's see, who else we got? Keith Thurman. Then you got. Well, Mayweather's retired, so we don't have to worry about him anymore.
He's done. Retired.
Yeah.
And he's not
Agreed.
going to MMA. So let's just talk.
Good.
Okay.
Anthony,
What was he doing in the octagon?
Anthony, am I not mistaken? You fight at 147 too. So
Oh.
I believe so. I'd have to include Anthony into that as well. I'm trying to think of who else. I've drawn blanks at the division right now, and the division's so deep it's ridiculous.
We're all
Timothy
researching.
Bradley?
No, Bradley's
Porter?
done. Sean Porter's okay, but
Danny Garcia?
Danny's okay as well, but he can be beat.
Alvarez?
Yeah, Alvarez is good. There's some.
I have to step in there, I guess. We're doing what?
Michael Davis?
Yeah, that's something he said though. He did want to be a boxing and UFC champion.
Well,
He
and
said that
this
was one of the
is-
first things he said to you. He goes, Pete, I want to be a championship, world champion boxer and MMA fighter.
When Michael came to me, we discussed all this stuff, and we discussed it right out in the open, right from the beginning. So we started with an amateur boxing fight, which was on Anthony's show, and that was his first and only amateur boxing fight, and he won a decision against a kid that had 28 amateur fights and was a very good fighter, and Michael won his decision on his first amateur boxing fight.
Holy crap.
Golly, that's crazy.
That's huge.
So,
That's experience
so
like
we
that.
did that, and then he wanted to turn. He was ready to turn pro in MMA, and I said, I want to take one amateur MMA fight, and let's fight, and just so that we can get used to each other before I turn you pro."
Yep.
And he was kind of like let down and disappointed at first, but he listened, and we went and we fought for the 155 title for Breakthrough MMA, and he fought a very, very tough kid, Jeremiah McDougal, and he had a first round submission.
Holy crap.
On that, and not to take anything away from Jeremiah, because that kid is another amazing kid, and he's going to go far. But he won that fight. Then we turned him pro, and then we had 3 or 4 pro fights right off the bat that all fell through. One right after another, after another, after another. So,
They're scared.
well, it's just people falling out. So thank you to Hoff for getting us our first couple fights, the first couple pro MMA fights. Then I mixed in, after those, we mixed in 3 professional boxing fights, and they were all won by stoppages, I believe it. And then we went a while without another pro fight, and then we finally got 2 island fights. I know Mitchell and Richard Cox had him matched with a fight from one of their shows, their pro shows, and the opponent pulled out, so we ended up the next 3 fights for island fights up there, 3 MMA fights. So now he's 5-0 there, and he's 3-0 pro boxing.
That was awesome what Dean Toole did also. It's the first ever MMA and boxing
Yeah.
hybrid card on UFC Fight Pass. Like to be a part of something, and then Roy Jones Jr.'s last fight.
I was sitting from here to you, away from the ring, to watching Roy fight his final fight. I was leaning against the apron.
That's awesome.
So,
Is it fair to say he's the Anderson Silva of boxing?
oh yes, by far.
Yeah, right. That's a perfect.
It's a great analogy.
And I
It's
see
good,
so
man.
many people sit on Facebook and social media, Roy, retire, you're too old, you're going to get killed, this and that. Listen, I'm sitting 5 feet away from this guy throwing liver shots, and I'm like, man, look at the juice he's putting on these punches.
Yeah.
And he's a year older than me. And he's just laying them in there, and I'm like, wow. That boy still got some work
He
left
has
in
the
him.
video of
36 years old.
He got one fight left on me. Yeah, nice try. I wish.
his like tongue is out, and then like he's punching him without looking. I keep seeing that video pop up. I'm like, come on, you're doing that magical stuff.
And that was not like just some pushover opponent. That kid's
Yeah.
had some fights. He's got some fights under his belt and everything. So Dean Toole, once again, unbelievable matchmaker and promoter. I mean, the show up there was sold out. The place was a huge arena. And
Like I
you
said,
couldn't
people were
move.
standing on the
You
rafters.
couldn't
Just
move.
yeah.
It was just so many people,
That's
thousands and
We're gonna
thousands.
get locked in up there. That's for one. Two, we also had Devin Cushion on the show last week. That's gonna go out tonight or
That's my
tomorrow.
boy.
Yeah, it's a great interview. And another Facebook question.
This one's again for Taylor. Debbie Gamble says, "Where do you go from here?" Or the April 7th fight, right?
Yep, April 7th will be the next fight.
If anything comes up before that, would you guys be like, "Oh, hell yeah,
Yes,
we can
oh
get"?
my
Oh,
gosh, yes.
okay.
Oh,
no.
Isn't
God.
I love that.
That was
Isn't
it.
Breakthrough MMA March 24th here in
I
Daytona?
think he postponed the show for right now. He's so Jason is he's a great friend. He's like one of my brothers also, but he's got another business going, True Tech AV and stuff
Okay.
to do all that. Man, he's just killing it right now with that.
Okay,
So
Awesome.
Yeah. that's great. I love hearing that.
Jamie,
And so plug that
all these
the-
great questions. You ask if she wants to fight. No, I'm sorry.
I
know, I know.
sometimes people
Yeah,
get
yeah.
locked into a spot. Okay, April 7th, like the wordplay, but if something happens March 8th, you're like, yeah, hell yeah. give me
Is
that.
there another
Okay.
question?
Guys,
No, I was
if
just gonna say that April 7th it's Orlando Live Events.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where can people
Combat
get tickets for
MMA.
that?
Yeah.
I don't know if tickets are on sale yet or not or whatever, but I'm sure as soon as they are, we'll start sharing a link to it
Yeah.
and everything. Mitchell will have all the information up soon. He's Mitchell's one of the best promoters
Mitchell.
in Florida.
Get with us.
Yeah,
Max,
Mitchell,
Dave.
you need locked in and get involved with the show and everything. I know Mitchell's got the best cards going and
Yeah.
stuff. He works
Podcasting,
so hard.
promoting. We're
But,
in.
these are my boys up here. They take good care of us, so they're good for the show.
Do you have anybody you want to shout out personally before I debate a couple matches with you? I know I put you on the spot. I apologize.
Listen, I got. First of all, the biggest and the foremost person to shout out is my wife. The one who sits at home and deals with all this crap that I put her through, and being gone all the time on the road, at the gym every night, and this and that. I get one night a week I spend with her, and Thursday night I stay home from the gym, and by Thursday night I'm dead tired anyway, so I'm in bed by 8 o'clock. But that's she puts up with most of the crap. I have John Radford at the gym. I've already said that he's worth his weight in gold, and he's like my own family. And now I have a new boxing coach that's part of our team now.
Yeah, Jason, right?
Jason Bailey is he's got a long line in boxing. He's been around forever, so I'm glad to have him part of the team. And all the rest of my people at my gym, all my kids, even all the way down to 4 years old, all the way up to helping out people in their late 60s and stuff.
That's awesome. You have to have a good supporting crew if you want to succeed.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
There's so many people that support me, and it's crazy to think even when I was doing weightlifting, so many people followed me. And it's just so insane to see how time changes and how everything goes by. But I just want to say thank you to my grandmother.
Yeah, my mom, she's the best support system anywhere.
She deals with me all the time. I don't know how she does it, but I didn't have my mom in my life, and she's like the closest figure I have, besides him. And I love you so much, Grandma, and I do this for you, and I know you hate seeing me get punched in the face. But
When you do get punched in the face,
I
it's
can say
true.
one thing.
We just did what we did last weekend at
Yeah.
Spartanburg.
Definitely Michael Davis, and he means so much to me, and I'm so thankful to be so close to somebody, and I'm in love with everything about him, and I'm thankful to have him, as training me as much as he does and dealing with me, and he really helped my mentality 100% with all this. I'm thankful for him.
We just have to work, with his wardrobe a little bit, right?
Yeah, we got, he wants to do a different character every way.
Yeah.
I'm like, do it. I'm like, dye your hair.
No,
I know.
that's a given. That could be
And
something.
yet, when you think of Khabib, you think of the.
afro.
There's a word for it. They're really, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. It's like something to do with the culture. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
But I'm talking about like,
Khabib.
yeah, it's not just a hat. But yeah, you think of the hat.
Yeah.
So I mean, cowboy. You think of
Yeah.
the cowboy hat.
He's so funny.
But can we please get in UFC? I have sparked this debate. I know you guys are the biggest Joanna Jacek fans,
Yes.
and I know you guys like Rose as well, right?
She was here yesterday.
Yeah.
Joanna
Yeah.
I'm
was
sorry.
here for the 500.
The 500, right?
Yeah.
She didn't get in the studio.
You didn't reach out to him.
Yeah, my bad. My bad. I'll take the L. So who do you guys have, Rose or Joanna?
I love both of them, so it really breaks my heart to pick either one. But I think Joanna's going to come back on this one.
I like
Wow.
Rose
So
too.
I'm the outlier on that one. I think Rose can do
I
it
think
again.
she'll do well. I think she'll handle herself.
Either way it goes, I'm not going to be surprised.
Yeah, really.
Really?
Good point, yeah.
Or
Either way it
disappointed.
goes.
I don't
Yeah.
think it's.
Yeah, I
gonna
won't be
decision.
disappointed either way, and I won't be surprised whoever wins because I love both of them. I think
Yeah.
they're both phenomenal.
I just think Yuana's a champion, and she just has that it factor about her, and she loses, and everyone loses sooner or later.
Yeah.
But I think she will revenge that loss. I
I
really
think she
do.
will
I think
too.
she's got that little spark, the heart. I think Yuana will win this one, and there will be a trilogy.
And you're gonna leave that blank until it happens.
Until it happens. We'll go to the trilogy when it happens.
Yeah.
Khabib, Tony.
Khabib.
Could be at the
Sorry,
Van Auken
yeah,
house
go ahead,
or
go
live
ahead.
in Brooklyn.
We'll be live in Brooklyn.
Everybody's picking Khabib, and for rightfully so. He's a great
It's
fighter. But I'm going with Tony.
Oh,
I knew he was gonna say it before he said anything.
That jiu-jitsu
Really?
that boy got.
He is great, and what I told Dave is, if he gets taken down and gets the crap beaten out of him the first 2 rounds, I still think he wins
Yeah.
because his heart, his conditioning.
Well,
He's a threat
Khabib is a
everywhere.
monster. He never stops, and that wrestling he's got,
Yeah.
his top control is phenomenal.
It is. I'm not taking anything away from
But
him. You always look at
But Tony can work off his back too. So
Yeah, Eddie
But-
Bravo.
I'm only going with Tony because everybody else is saying Khabib.
I'll take it.
Okay.
I'll take it.
okay.
All right, that's my main 2 because I'm the outlier on pretty much both of them. Well, Rose is kind of, yeah, 50-50.
You know I was Mrs. Rose on the first fight.
Yeah, it was Dimitri said Joanna too, so.
Ooh, smart
Okay,
man.
so yeah, I'll stick with. I think Rose just has a unique mentality. Like she's not afraid of her,
No.
and she's done it once. I don't think it'll be the same fight even if she
Yeah.
wins. I
If
think
she
it'll be tougher.
wins, I will not be disappointed at all because I love that kid. She's fighting truly from her heart.
She had the best post interview of all time.
Yeah.
Like to make the world a better place. You could have said, "I'm so happy I'm champ," but you'd think of the world. I just wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay, my introduction. I said let's get locked in. So did you guys think of one? It's not my fault this time.
Producer, you want to go? You got one, or anyone on Facebook have one? No, I got one. I got a good one.
I do.
Can
too.
I
We
want me to
didn't
start this
usually
off?
talk about ours. I have a feeling it's the same thing. So go ahead.
I'm gonna start this off, and then maybe you guys can, get with it, with where I'm going with it. This Saturday, Orlando UFC Fight Night. I got Mike Perry with a first round TKO win. Michael Perry gets
See-
in there, gets out of there quick.
I'm sitting here racking my brain, and then he's going to steal my crap.
And I was gonna
Mic
wait-
drop.
I was gonna wait till he finished. I'm like, I'm gonna do one with Mike Perry because his fight's close. I'm like, I
Yeah.
just have a weird feeling
Yeah,
you're doing that. So,
exactly.
so I have something up my sleeve. Do you guys want me to go next or?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, I think it's UFC 223 is the Khabib Tony
Yes.
In
April
Brooklyn-
7th,
in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. Barclays
with the
Center.
Rose and Joanna.
Yes. Yeah.
I have Michael Davis on the Brooklyn card, and that's
You
locked in.
better give me a ticket.
And not only is that locked in, the
Tell him
locked-
right now, he just joined.
Michael Davis,
He's
Mike, my boy,
Wait.
Beast Boy.
It's been 40 minutes, Mike. Where were you at?
We're fighting. No, I'm
He was
playing. I
doing
don't
his
wanna fight you.
hair.
My locked in is that you are going to be on the Brooklyn card, and we are coming with you. We're going to get locked in, and we want to support you throughout the whole way. And
Wow.
we'll be the first ever live podcast event at a UFC event. Has that been done?
That hasn't been done.
That's my locked in.
We break walls down.
He said he just got home.
We just got them.
They'll probably throw you out of the damn building.
Yeah, but we'll be there to support. So,
They're tailgating in the parking lot with locked in.
you guys got it?
Go ahead, Sparky.
Joanna by KO.
Oh.
Any round.
Do you have a
Any
round? Do you have a round?
I'm kind of feeling 3. I'm gonna go with
Ooh,
3.
okay.
Like a war, or is she just demolished?
No, it's gonna be a war.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna be a war.
And I have Joanna winning. I think it's still a war.
Yeah.
Neither one, I don't think, will dominate the other one.
I
They're
don't
both
think-
just two top-end
I
class
don't think it's
fighters.
gonna go to decision at all. I think it's.
I agree with that. I think whoever wins, they finish.
Yeah.
All right, Coach, the pressure's on you.
Oh, boy.
Save the best for last.
I don't even. I got obviously have Michael Davis winning his UFC debut.
Oh, yes.
I have Anderson within the next 2 months back in the cage or somewhere.
Good.
We gotta go there. We gotta be
So,
everywhere.
a couple different things, trying to mix it up a little bit. But I got Mike Perry winning, obviously, probably second round. Could be first or second rounds. Definitely with the KO. Because Mike's my boy. I love that kid.
He's a warrior. He's
Yeah.
just
He's
he's one of
an
those guys. He's a
entertaining
fighter. He's
Yeah.
a fighter.
He's got the strongest, him and Alex, the strongest clinch games, and coming out of the clinch with the elbows, the knees, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And when you got a guy like Mark Nicholson, who was a world-class kickboxer, teaching you all that stuff over the years, Mark drove them around everywhere as their amateurs, did all this stuff, took them everywhere, did everything for them, and it's worked out, it's proved.
He
And
has
that's
that
what I
knock
do.
of the year with the elbow.
I use what Mark did for Alex and Mike, is what I do for her, and for Mike Davis and everybody. I'll
That's awesome.
take them wherever the best work is, and we'll get it.
Awesome.
Devin Gator, shout out to you. Actually, I know it was almost over. I just had something that sparked, and you said about boxing and MMA. I feel like women's or females MMA is at a higher level right now than boxing's.
So this is
I
why
think
I
so.
made the decision to go to MMA.
smart
She
man.
was.
He told you he knew what you were thinking.
I look at Clarissa Shields, who's a great kid, and she's a first woman to win a gold medal in boxing.
Mhm.
2 times, and she was having a hell of a time trying to get money from sponsors and everything
Yeah.
else in the Olympics and all that. So I was talked to a couple people, and I could have pushed her with a couple more fights and brought her into going to nationals and stuff like that
Sure.
for boxing. But there's no money in it.
Yeah.
So when you go MMA right now,
It's-
the sponsorship. In order for her to train as much as she is and do everything that she's doing, it's costing a fortune. This trip to New South Carolina just cost me like almost $600. But these are sponsors, all the sponsors, all this long list of people, man, the people that contribute. That's the only way we could do this, because I don't have all that crazy kind of money to do this. Half the people in my gym train there because I just let them train because they don't have money or stuff like that. So while everybody else is trying to charge $150 a month for all these kids to come in and train, not that I'm offering free memberships to anybody, but I'm not going to. I don't refuse people from training because of that. So in
That's
return,
amazing.
I'm not lining my pockets either. I still work a regular job every day,
Yeah.
and I just do my thing. But it's the sponsors, man. You guys don't even have any idea, how much you guys are needed and how much you help. And you're the ones that are really getting these guys to that level. So thank you to all of you
Yeah,
guys.
I appreciate you guys.
And we need more. I want more kids to go to Pete White's gym, and I definitely want to build that up, booster that up. My son was going, loves it. Taylor's the coach. He loves her. It's definitely a thing. More kids go to the gym. Parents take their 5, 7, 8-year-old boy, girls, get them in the gym. Great discipline. It's great. It's a good workout. Get them. Stop watching iPads. Just
Yep.
go to the gym.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Put that stuff down.
Yep.
Is what if we, like a basketball team, know a lot of players, athletes. I'm always wondering they would be great at another sport.
Yeah.
So I really want to.
A lot of kids are getting away from the traditional stuff. I mean, football's
Yeah.
always football, but
They need
a
to
lot of
come do MMA.
A lot of kids, I have so many parents that call me and they're like, yeah, my son was playing baseball, he was doing this and playing basketball, and then he says, but he wants to try boxing or because MMA, everybody's getting into that whole ordeal.
Yeah,
they all want it. That's the new thing. It's the new baseball.
It's a new
Yeah.
trend.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I think it helps so much. Not just like going into boxing and fighting, but like before this, like I started actually like getting serious about it, and after weightlifting and everything, like I was so depressed. Like I was always sad. I had nothing to do, and and then I found calling, and it just helped me, and so much. And like I don't do this for money. I didn't even know until like 2 years ago you get paid for this, and I know he doesn't do it for the money.
Yeah.
I don't care
Love
about
for the
any of
sport.
that. I do it because I want to be known as a good fighter, but I want to be known as a good person. Not just like, yeah, no, she knows how to punch. Like I have a good heart, you know, and I think that's the most important thing. And that's why I respect Rose so much for doing something that no other champion has ever done, and it helps a lot. And I think, you know, everyone needs a hobby to do. Just like you guys are amazing at the mic, you know what I mean?
Thank you.
It's a big deal when you're dealing. A lot of kids have a lot of anger issues and stuff
Sure.
like that. Anger, depression, stuff like that. So there's a channel.
There's not an outlet for the kids
Yeah.
to do it.
And they use it like this. And how many people come to their parents come to me, hey, well, this one's messing up in school, this and that. If you're not doing good in school, you ain't training. So your grades better be on point, or you're not coming to the gym. I don't care about membership money or anything else. That don't matter. If your grades aren't good, you're not training.
Yeah.
So you know, there's so many things that. You know, I make them do all that. They got to clean the gym. They got to help. Everybody's got to contribute and stuff. So
That's
pay
awesome.
your dues. You know.
Thank you guys so much for coming to the studio. And you guys know you're always welcome.
Well,
Anytime.
it's always a blessing. I know if I need to say something, I'll give you a call, and I know I can get in here and
Anytime
get
you
squared
want.
up. So
Awesome. Yeah,
I love
Taylor,
you
congrats. 1-0, 1 down. You know, 26 more.
Yeah, it'll happen.
Yeah, definitely.
let's see what we can do over the next 2 years.
Awesome, guys. Everyone
Thank
that
you.
tuned in, thank you so much. We'll see you guys soon.
Apple Podcast. Can't forget, if you like
Everybody
what you
share it.
heard,
Yeah.
Everybody share it. Share this Facebook
Thank
feed.
you.
Share it so everybody gets it.
Download, subscribe.
Taylor's shirt. The
Yeah.
best shirt I've ever seen.
I know, Susie was wearing it
The
all
link-
day today.
Yeah.
Yes. Buy Taylor's shirt. Also, Apple Podcast to listen to this. Locked in with 2 N's. Stitcher Radio if you have an Android.
And
Don't
please,
judge.
please, $5 Dunkin' Donut gift cards for me. It's expensive. It's a bad habit, guys. $5 gift cards. All right.
Me in there.
Like always, make sure you stay
Locked in.
Thank you.